Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine on the Navy Sports Network. Time to talk a little wrestling. Yes, the wrestling team finally got to wrestle somebody else. Logan Treaster at 125 joins us. Kansas native, you and your teammates finally got to exit that wrestling room. You got to get into Alumni Hall, and you got to go up against somebody else this past Sunday. Great test, obviously, against number 14 Pittsburgh. For you and your teammates, what was it like to just finally escape the wrestling room at Navy and have a competitive match against people that you haven't seen for a while?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's a great feeling to get back out there. Yeah, it's been a long time since back right before spring break, back in March, when we just kind of found out the season just ended abruptly on us, and I think all those extra hours that I've spent in various practice rooms across the country while we were being sent back home. There was always that thought in the back of my mind that someone out there was trying to outwork me, and just didn't want to let that happen. So it was a lot of extra hours that I think all of us on the team were trying to put in to try and be ready for with this compressed season that we have. Like, we wanted to come out of the gates and just get right back at it, and that's really what it felt like. It felt like I hadn't even really left.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You have a new coach. You as a senior, going into your final season here, you've done things a certain way for the past 3 seasons, but not having that hands-on with the new coach and the new staff. How difficult was that to navigate, as you mentioned, as you tried to work out and do some of the things that you tried to do to stay in shape, obviously in this off season while you guys were sent away basically from Annapolis?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the new coaching staff that we had this year, they've done a really great job. I credit Coach Collette with that. He within the first couple of days after it had been announced that he had gotten the position as our head coach, he was scheduling meetings with us, kind of establishing kind of the new precedent of the new standards and kind of how he was going to run the season and run the team. They were very hands-on in the most virtual sense that they could, of sending us workouts that we were to get done and give us our schedule, so that we weren't just kind of leaving things on our own to try and figure things out. Like, it was a very regimented workout routine that we had all throughout the spring and summer, coming into when we finally got back together in the fall. So it made it a very seamless transition when we all came back on the yard and had completed our quarantine period. We were very much ready to hit the ground running because of all that work that the coaching staff had done back in the spring and summer to get us prepared for what they expected from us.
Coaching changes are always tough, regardless of the sport. But when that new coach is announced and you see the background that Coach Collette has, I mean, guy goes 137-0 in his high school career in the state of Pennsylvania, where that's a legit 137-0 because he's not wrestling against slack competition there. When you see that type of person come in to take over your program, how exciting is it to get, at least in your case, a year under the belt of one of the top guys we've ever seen in the sport?
Well, it's just one of those things where you take every opportunity that you get presented with. I think we were all kind of nervously excited when we got that news, finding out that Coach Collette was going to be taking over, just because he does have a reputation for being one of the finest technicians that the United States has ever produced. And so you just are, I mean, personally for me, I was just honored to be able to have 1 year under somebody like that, just to get to learn from the best that this country's produced. It's you take every opportunity that you can get.
That first takedown on Sunday night, what did that feel like to finally get back into a competitive match and get those competitive juices flowing?
I mean, I don't know that the first score wasn't, it's not like it was anything, it didn't feel any different than any other scores, but it definitely, inside of that match, getting a takedown right there with 5-6 seconds left, I think, in the first period, within the context of that match, it's always a great feeling. It just kind of felt like getting back to just right back into the rhythm of things. It's always a good feeling when you get a score.
Now, every match doesn't start out with 125, but when it does, is there that, no, I don't know if pressure is the word, but do you feel a responsibility that, hey, I want to get the team off to a great start if I'm the guy that's in that leadoff spot like that?
I think there is, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of responsibility that being the lightweight has, just because in general, for the most part, yes, I am starting off the lineup. And so it's not pressure, but it's like it's an opportunity to kind of establish the tempo, establish the kind of the atmosphere for how the rest of the duel is going to go. It kind of, you are given the responsibility to the rest of the team of kind of setting that tempo and establishing the precedent for how everyone else is going to compete and go out there. And you want to try and inspire the other guys to go out and compete. You're not going to win necessarily all of those matches, but it's important to go out there and compete so that the next guy is just ready to come back in right up behind you and just continue on what you've established. So it's fun for me because I like being out there. I'm used to it. Especially with the dual environment, that the 1 hour from weigh-ins, that turnaround can be kind of difficult for people. So being the lightweight, I get to practice it a lot. And it also has the benefit of once the match is out of the way, I get to sit back and enjoy the rest of the duel as a spectator and be there for the rest of my teammates. I don't have to worry about like when I'm not the person who's starting. Typically, I don't like to be out there on the bench too much before my match and get my adrenaline up before it needs to be and waste any extra energy. So getting to sit out there and watch the rest of the duel is always a fun experience for me too.
For a guy that has obviously great interest in medicine upon graduation from the academy, what has it been like to observe these protocols and the types of things that we've had to endure here during a tremendous pandemic on a lot of people, not only here in our country, but even around the world, that this virus has struck so many folks. But for someone that aspires to be in medicine, what's it been like to observe this and certainly work with our trainers and medical people on the protocols that you all have had to observe?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I know we've had, I've had the opportunity to get to talk to the head brigade medical officer here on the yard, Captain Saperstein. He's not, he's not an infectious disease specialist, but being the head medical officer on the yard, he was thrust into that role. And it kind of has been an interesting perspective to get to see what the future for someone who wants to go into military medicine is like. You have to be, you have your specific specialty, but you also have to be a kind of a jack of all trades and have a very wide and broad, well-rounded understanding of medicine in general and be able to put on multiple hats. I think that's been really interesting for me to get to watch is, what that's like to try and watch them work through the process of, okay, how are we going to get the brigade back? How are we going to keep our athletes in a safe environment so that we're not putting them at any additional health risks that might cause long-term effects down the line, whether that be heart damage or anything like that they've seen in some very extreme cases, or just in the immediate sense of, can they be safe enough to where we're going to be able to give them their season? And especially at the academy, that's kind of a unique thing because a lot of other schools are, people have the ability to take redshirt years or take years off for medical reasons.
Sure.
And at the academy, you're not given that luxury just because needs of the Navy. That's kind of what you sign up for. So yeah, it definitely has been interesting to kind of get to watch all of that and see some of the things that, maybe down the line I might get put into some kind of role like that.
All right. I'm about 100 pounds heavier than you. I can go get a Chips Ahoy, an Oreo, whenever I want. How do you manage to stay at 125? And is there something you're looking forward to eating post-wrestling season that you have had to kind of put on pause because you're trying to stay around that 125-pound weight class?
Oh my goodness. Well, I always jokingly say that 125 is kind of the select few. There is a very select few group of people in the country that can get down that small. And it's making it 1 year is something, but for me, I've been 125 pounds the entire time at the academy. So yeah, I mean, it's I'm not gonna say that making weight is ever easy. It's never impossible by any means. Sometimes they're easier than others. Yeah, it's sometimes it can be a mind game sometimes, anyone who's cut weight, like a serious amount, kind of understands that, it's not a fun time. But it is a critical part of the sport. I remember growing up, like, I honestly don't think I've had a legitimate like Thanksgiving dinner since I was probably in like 5th grade. So that's one thing, like just the holiday season I'm really looking forward to next year. It's like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, all of the holidays that involve food seem to be right from the start to end of wrestling season. I don't know how that worked out. But it just like I mean, maybe the 4th of July, kind of, but not even that. It's like all of the ones that have to do with food are always during the winter. It's just like.
Is there one thing in particular you're looking forward to eating?
I'm a big ice cream guy. I love ice cream. So much. So I really, really have to watch it in season. I try and treat myself if I can, but yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that.
Got a favorite flavor?
Chocolate.
Yeah, attaboy. Congratulations on the season opening win. Obviously, best of luck the rest of the way to you and your teammates with what remains of this 2021 wrestling season. Appreciate the time today.
Yeah, thank you very much.